back to Healthy with Nicole. In today's video, I wanted to share with you some tips on how to do the carnivore diet on a budget. First of all, we don't have to survive on steaks every single day. It is a nice way to do the carnivore diet, but there's a lot of different ways to do this carnivore diet and still get all the great health benefits. We can't all have a steak every day, so maybe just a treat for you. It's different for everybody. So let me give you a few tips here. First of all, yes, we are going to have steaks every day, but this one that I got is not even a grass-fed steak. It's just a traditional ribeye steak, and it was $12.17 for 0.87 pounds. And so that's a pricey meal, right? We're going to do that, and some of us might throw in a couple eggs with it. So it's not the only thing we would eat all day. So that's probably a little bit of expensive meal if you're on a budget. So let me give you some other ideas. Obviously, we know that grass-fed is going to be our first choice. We want to do the best that we can in getting better quality. A couple reasons for that, and I'll go more into that in another video. But one, I do think it's cleaner meat, right? We are not getting any kind of hormones or antibiotics into grass-fed meats. And also, it's great for the environment. You really want to try to buy less from factory farms and more from biodynamic farms. This is going to make a huge difference in the environmental impact of what we do. But even just this is a pound of ground beef from Trader Joe's. And this is, I think it was $6 a pound. So this, I would probably eat this in one meal. This is going to be one meal for me. Me personally, I am eating around 1.5 pounds to 2 pounds a day is my standard. So depending on your activity level, how long you've been on the carnivore diet, your size, for my size woman, I think it's probably about average. If you are pregnant or lactating, you're going to need more. If you are doing a lot of strength training, building a lot of muscle, you're probably going to need more. So this is just a ballpark figure. If you figure 1.5 to 2 pounds of meat a day is a good estimate. So ground beef, you can't go wrong with. However, some people do have problems with histamines. So if that is you, then you're going to want to get your meat ground fresh and use it right away. But otherwise, it's a great way to save money. You can buy this in larger volume, freeze it, and that's kind of the obvious way. We often recommend that you stay with beef because it has the most nutrients of all the foods. You want to go with the ruminant animals whenever possible. So that would be your beef, bison, lamb, goat, any animal that's grazing, as opposed to pigs, which are fed corn or grains typically, or even poultry and birds. They won't have as high nutrient value in their body. However, they're still fine to include. I would just not make it the mainstay of your diet. Some other things that you can add in is pasture-raised eggs. So I would never buy factory-farmed eggs. I would always go with the pasture-raised. Even the highest quality eggs are not going to be more than $8 for a dozen. And that's easily 3 meals. Some of you might eat 6 eggs in a setting. I know some people that do that. But for the most part, you're going to get a couple of meals out of it, probably 3. For me, more. I probably get 4 meals out of this easily. 3 eggs at a time plus some meat is a really good meal. So definitely add in the eggs unless you have some sort of an egg allergy. It's a great way to keep your budget down. So if you mix in some ground beef, maybe a steak if you buy it on sale, or if you buy in volume, that's actually per meal going to be a great way to do that. I'd buy lamb, half a lamb at a time for about $250. And it'll last me a good couple of weeks because I mix in all these other things. I don't like to do too much canned food, but it certainly is for people on a budget. Canned tuna or salmon. This is smoked salmon. They're okay, couple dollars for a can. If you're traveling, if you're on a really tight budget, you can do that. I don't know that I would say it's the optimal, but it is an option. And also you can do sardines in the tins, and this combined with some egg is actually a pretty good filling meal. You'll also get some omega-3 fatty acids from including the fish and seafood, which I think is a really good idea. And then also when you're cooking, you might find if you do, for example, like a pot roast, I save the fat from all of my cooking. So whether it's bacon fat, this is lamb. I did a lamb shoulder roast. So we cook the pot roast and then I save the fat. And this is really delicious for frying up eggs and cooking anything in really. And then I save this aside, and then I don't really need to spend on butter or anything like that. And then also, once you've done a roast, if it has the beef bones in it or lamb shoulder bones or anything like that, then you can start to do your own broth. And so this is one of my bone broths that I make. I'm going to show you in another video exactly how we do this, but that'll give you some fat, and the broth itself is actually great for cooking. I will sometimes have a couple of cups with an egg yolk whisked in it. So not necessarily a meal, but maybe a good healthy snack. So these are kind of just some little add-ons. Typically for your carnivore diet, when you're first starting, keep it simple. Obviously, steaks are going to be the most expensive way to go. If you really want to try to focus on a budget, you're probably going to need to make some concessions there on the grass-fed versus grain-fed. Grain-fed, in my opinion, is not as good as the grass-fed, and also there's the environmental components and things like that. Ground beef, far cheaper than your steaks, although I have a feeling they're going to have more glycine content because there's going to be more tendon material and things ground up in the beef, which we actually like. So mix it up. Beef, try the bison is going to be a little bit more expensive. Lamb is sometimes less depending on where you're getting it sourced. I would save your pork products for last. They're tasty, but not all that nutritionally dense. Adding in some fish, some eggs, some broth, and cooking as much as you can from home. So I can tell you that I actually feel like I've saved a lot of money on the carnivore diet because of all the things that I don't buy anymore, not to mention my time. So if you like that video, give it a thumbs up. Please subscribe below, and I'll see you in the next video.